Jack Charlton sobs as boys of 1966 pay tribute to England's greatest left-back Ray Wilson. 8 days before the launch of another World Cup and England's heroes of 1966 gathered to pay their last respects to one of their dwindling number. At the funeral of Ray Wilson in West Yorkshire, the tributes flowed for the finest left-back of his generation, one of the greatest of all time and one who transformed the role with his pace and mobility and his desire to get forward. "A lovely guy and a super footballer," said Gordon Banks. "He had such great speed. He could give his winger 3 yards start and still catch him up and make sure he did not get across into my box. He was terrific." 5 heroes of the 1966 team were present and were joined by other familiar faces from the world of football and fans wearing shirts and scarves bearing England's 3 lions and the crests of Huddersfield Town and Everton. The 2 clubs Wilson served with such distinction were both represented, and Huddersfield are making plans to dedicate a pre-season friendly to the passing of one of their legends. "Ray was an icon of Huddersfield," said town director Sean Jarvis. "He was a national hero for his football exploits, but he meant more than that to us. He was a family man and a fan of our football club and a true gent." England will play just 20 miles from Huddersfield on Thursday, and yet the FA were represented at the funeral by Tony McCallum, the national coach development manager, rather than any of their senior executives. Gareth Southgate was busy preparing his team at St George's Park to face Costa Rica at Elland Road in Leeds. Others were away on business, and although the FA hosted Wilson's family at Wembley against Nigeria on Saturday, the absence was noted and did not create a good impression. Mourners stood in the aisles and spilled out through the doors at Huddersfield Crematorium. There was Nat King Cole, Unforgettable, and Frank Sinatra, Fly Me to the Moon, because Wilson enjoyed the classic crooners. And there were plenty of smiles among friends and former teammates as they shared tales of his competitive spirit and devilishly sharp wit. He was described as a black belt in dominoes and cards by Andrew Ward, a close friend who delivered a touching tribute. Among his many recollections was one about the only time Wilson was booked during his career, when Leeds had been awarded a disputed late penalty against Everton and were unable to decide who should take it. "You might as well take it yourself, Rev," suggested Everton's star fullback. "Come here, Wilson," ordered the referee. "Yes, Mr. Mannering," quipped Wilson in reply, with comic timing of Dad's Army precision. His name was promptly taken. His sense of humor was a common theme, a useful quality when he quit football and moved into the family undertaker's business. The World Cup winners would meet up regularly, every year or two, and Sir Geoff Hurst told how Wilson would whip out a business card in jest if anyone arrived complaining of an ailment. Hurst said Wilson, the oldest player in the team, was also a calming dressing room influence with his wit and no-nonsense wisdom. Ahead of the final at Wembley, it was his Derbyshire accent which cut through the giddy pre-match excitement to ask what all the fuss was about, and remind his teammates to calm down and relax because it would be just like any other game. Banks and Roger Hunt were able to make the journey, as were Sir Bobby Charlton and his brother Jack, towering head and shoulders above the rest of the congregation, although, at 83, increasingly frail. Wilson was 83 when he died last month, having lived for years with Alzheimer's, and he and his wife Pat were praised by Jeremy Hughes, chief executive of the Alzheimer's Society, for raising awareness of the disease. Martin Peters and Nobby Stiles are also diagnosed with Alzheimer's and were unable to attend the service. George Cohen was the other of those World Cup winners still alive not able to make it. Bobby Moore died in 1993 at the age of 51 and Alan Ball in 2007 at the age of 61. These individuals, molded into a team by Sir Alf Ramsey, would create a bond to survive for decades. "It was such a huge achievement," said Banks. "Something which becomes more evident with every passing 4-year cycle. 12 tournaments have sailed by without England coming close again. Ray Wilson's place in history is secure. Not only for his part in a triumphant team but also for his role in hoisting Captain Moore into the air for what might be the most famous image of a very famous day."